When I was younger, so my undergrad is in chemical engineering, and we do a lot of things about process engineering and thinking about how to do things better, more efficiently, more effective. And that's basically what engineering is all about. It's all about thinking of how do we optimize what we're doing. And when I was younger, I sort of really took this to heart in terms of myself and thinking about optimizing everything that I do to make sure that I get the most amount of work done that I can possibly do in the shortest amount of time. The most amount of exercise that I can possibly do in the shortest amount of time. Caring for others to the greatest extent with the least amount of effort. Finding the best possible car, for example, for the best possible price, with that was going to be best fitting for me. Looking for the best possible house for the least amount of money. Like, everything is very much just kind of like this optimization problem that I was thinking about. And as I've aged and gotten a little older and had a little bit more experience, I've realized that a lot of life is not about optimization, and a lot of life is really not about doing things efficiently and effectively as much as you can. That sort of, it's almost treats life in a very robotic way, and there's lots to be said about that, and there's lots of benefit of doing that for a while. And I would say that I'm probably reaping the benefits of doing those things probably pretty well at this moment of reaping those benefits, because I'm living a reasonable life, reasonably happy with who I am, all of those kind of things. But I've come to terms with the fact that a lot of what we do is just living and coming to terms with loving who you are, coming to terms with the world around you, coming to terms that you can often optimize on the wrong thing, and spend an awful lot of time and effort optimizing on the wrong thing. And coming to terms with all these things, coming to terms with the world is really complicated. So you can optimize and become the most efficient and effective for you, but it often is not going to be good enough for other people. B, the world is complicated in the sense that optimizing to the most amount of efficiency for your thing, it doesn't account for the greater world where you're interacting with other people in different ways, and they just probably don't care about what you do and how hard you work and all of those things. So, and there's only so much that you can sort of incrementally move up. So if to give you an example, right? You might spend an awful lot of effort optimizing on how efficiently you sort of produce output, and whatever that output is. But if you're part of a larger manufacturing plant, right, like a huge big manufacturing plant, your optimization of who you are has minimal impact on the overall objective. You might be at most maybe 1%, probably not even close to that. It's just a fraction of a percent of what the overall output is. So you can become the most efficient and effective worker in a big, large manufacturing plant, but it makes absolutely no difference within that particular plant. Now, does that mean that people might not spot that you're working hard and you're being efficient and effective and all that kind of stuff? No. They can find you, but what you got to realize is that often in life, they don't find you. That is a very real thing. They will never pay attention to you. There's many other things that are going on in terms of, for example, interpersonal dynamics, right? So they just might not like you. They might be just a person that just does not like you. And there's nothing that you can change about that. That's just who they are. They just don't like what you are. And they probably will never give you opportunities and think about you, or give you praise or anything like that for what you're doing. And so even though that you're really effective and efficient, you don't necessarily feel well. And then that efficiency and effectiveness does not sort of stay for a long time because you're not being rewarded, that you're not being recognized in any way. So, all of those things really play a big part of, coming to terms with efficiency and effectiveness is one small component of actual life. It's only a small component of how we actually interact in this world and do things. And so, what do we do, right? We live in a world where efficiency and effectiveness is not always going to amount to what you're thinking about or what you can actually do. And in the last few years, in the global pandemic, I think a lot of scientists, a lot of researchers, a lot of very smart people have come to terms with this, that, the world just doesn't care about your efficiency and effectiveness, right? Everything could be laid out perfectly and it could be done. We can solve massive, large problems, but if the world is not ready and the world doesn't want to change and the world doesn't care, there's nothing you can do about what you're doing. So what I can only say is just learn to live a good life. Learn to not optimize on efficiency and effectiveness. Learn to be a nice person. Learn to smile. Learn to laugh at the sort of craziness of the world around us. Learn to go home at night and give your significant other a hug, whether it's your parents or kids or your spouse. Learn to be happy with where you are, but at the same time learn to be constantly learning and constantly moving in a direction that you think is positive for you, without thinking about optimizing, without thinking of I'm going to become the very best and sort of everything's going to come together, because it doesn't happen that way typically. You could talk to many, many people that have practiced their butt off for the NBA or the football or whatever, and they just don't get there for many different reasons. You could be the top player in high school, the absolute top player, and you could practice your heart out. And then one day you're walking along the street and you broke your ankle on a loose rock. And you have to come to terms with the fact that you're never ever going to be that top player in the world. And you have to recognize that that is part of life. That is life, of dealing with that. And so you have to learn how to know that you do your best, you smile, and you just keep doing your thing day in and day out, and just trying to just be a good person, ignore the world around you, and if there's people that are nasty in this world, people that don't want to learn, people that don't care, all those kind of things, it's their problem. And you can't fix that, but the only thing that you could do is just be a kind, generous, helpful person as you're trying to learn things, taking little steps forward. And you do that over and over and over again. So that's it. That's a big thing that I've learned. about efficiency and effectiveness. Take care and have a wonderful day.